I actually haven't got much battery on this. Oh shit, hang on. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Right, so your problems in your life are either inside you mentally, outside you mentally, inside you physically, outside you physically. But because of the nature of infinity, any one of those can be an avenue of exploration for the personality that you have. So by sitting still as possible through the meditation processes and practices, you can actually bring those different layers into a resolution. And we can begin to ask ourselves, and this is the idea of the solar goal and why it's so impossible to resolve the challenges of a solar goal. What do you do during the day? If one has attained a wisdom, and that must be why Buddha, which is a you-ness, which is a you human, and that's the thing. I don't think that when we hear the word Jesus as Jew-Zeus, I actually think it's the you Zeus, as in it's your inner heroic story. And that's where you have to ask yourself, what version of reality are you willing to fill? Because I'm currently looking through 4 aspects of my character. That is the present physical speaking me, the immediately mirror imaged feedback me, which the way I've set this up is that I'm physically speaking, but I'm mentally the one speaking when I talk in the now, and my body is the immediate reflection. So that's one balance of duality. Now I've got another one here, which is the phone recording, and this is the bullshit about trying to be an awakened person and also be holding a camera and asking for, I suppose, an audience. And then we've got the other side of the camera, which I suppose is you guys, which is also, you're all competing for an audience, either with God upwards. So that's the orientation I always think, like, would you rather be the devil and look to the light, or would you rather be the human hubris, the arrogance of man, and look down on somewhat other man? And if you're doing that, then that's obviously the you in this thing. Because obviously I'm trying to talk to myself through myself, but I'm also trying to talk to God, but I'm also trying to address someone, and naturally some people will pay you attention if they feel that you have cracked a code that they have not yet recognized. And it's only by going through the process where you've seen this new interplay, and I've got a 4-way setup here between me and infinity, and that's what the free will has now become, that something that revolves around. So, you know, it's kind of that, the Tao of to be perceived is to be, versus to be is to perceive. So do you exist to live, to see things and feel them, and touch them and taste them, and kind of breathe them, exercise them? Do you indulge them sometimes? indulge them as in a, you know, lust for life type approach? Or do you lift to a whole new layer where actually you see the 7 chakras repeated, not just within within the physical body, but also within the conscious mind, and then again within the top one of that, and again within the top one of that? That's infinity for me. It's a great place to go. You don't want to stay there because you can't come out. Well, or can you? That's the trick. That's where you want to reach a glowing essence-ness, whereby the universe is real and universality does apply. So therefore I feel the universe and the universe feels me back in return. So I am the end of the universe, of this mirroring me and sensing through me the environment that I am in now, which includes I suppose, where I'm more of an outdoors man, it would be the beautiful garden, I suppose, the Garden of Eden. You know, I mean, like, it might not be a lot to some of you, but like, don't be a dick, yeah? Grass might be greener on the other side, but don't be jealous of like other people if you slag off someone else's lawn. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could look at this lawn here, and for some of you it might look nice, for some of you that might look like shit, but that's mine. And that's the point. Like, you know, there's guys with like footballer sized, you know, mansions, royal family sized palaces and shit, and they've just got a bigger chunk of the Garden of Eden, and it's brutal, but that is the double-edged nature of reality, which is, you know, there's a physical thing. What the fuck was that? Oh jeez, I know. Oh yeah, we put the washing machine on. Yeah, it's that right actually, I suppose. That's basically probably a sign to them to go fucking do some weights. And then anyway, because obviously I live in a house, as I'm a human man, you know, that's my perception of the way time works, is that people do things. And like, I suppose then the thing is, right, if you're doing the thing, you gotta ask yourself, like, okay, I'm indulging now the one element of my human body, and then there comes, as I said before, the mind element of the human body, and I came up to infinity. And I have to say, you know, you can lose yourself if you're not going fast enough. You have to split infinity faster and continue to call infinity a different thing mentally, because if you fall into the brain trap of thinking that infinity would stop and yet also be obliged to stop at some point, and as soon as you can kind of consolidate that paradox, you have to then consider the new paradox that you've got from the external point of view, which then, and this is the thing I think, has to come from a sense as much as anything. And because we've got our physical body, and some people have 0 activated chakras in their physical body, except for the root. You can't live without the root, I don't think. I think that's the most important one. And I think that's why people are racists, and I think that's fine. Be a racist. I also think that, like, if you don't live and fight and die for yourself as an individual, you will, what's the word? Not inherit the earth. You will not inherit the earth. unless you're willing to fight for your space on it. And I think that the trickiest thing is how to morally justify something when apparently we live in a world whereby there are 7 billion people. Each one of us is a blade of grass on a field which grows up towards God's light, morally, or whatever we justify. Because again, this is the weird thing, is if the earth's round, that means that anywhere that's pointing is new, I suppose. Really? Would that be? Or if the earth's flat, that's the other thing though. It's to people how they're trying to consolidate this infinity. Is the earth flat? Is the earth round? And you know, as soon as you just kind of, anyway, you'd become a blade of grass. Whatever thought that is, something feasts on those thoughts as it closes the infinity loop of perception. So it perceives us, and we graciously look up and go, thank you, I've learned something, that's useful. And on the other side of it, you've got like this really tricky imbalance between wanting the best, attempting to do the best, but equally having I suppose that my thing for me, and this is why I think, as I say, Buddha stepped out of the palace, it's because you need to have some four-way heartbeat that opens a new perception to where you're physically standing. So I think that basically means I need to do some exercise now, guys. So I'm just gonna like have a bit of an exercise and a bit of a think. But the horrible thing is that once at the moment this as a reality and that as a reality go away, then the other reality becomes this mental reality to my physical body, which then becomes the physical body to the outer body. I think that's what puts you on top of the earth, whether it's flat or round. So as that puts you as a blade of grass on top of the earth, you're fine, because you can't have everything pointing upwards at the highest possible point at all places. What I mean is, you know, you point to the direction in between the expanding infinity forever. Unless you close it, and if you close it, that's because you're, I think, dropping through your chakras into reaching a 7-layered mental state that you can then comfortably occupy on a day-to-day basis. I suppose what I need is money to make my wife happy, but I only need money to make her happy, because I'm actually a happy man inside, I think. Like, but then this is the other thing is, when you look at yourself as a happy person, and that I suppose opens up conundrums of the heart, doesn't it? Because you start saying, oh well, like, am I a good person to them as they see themselves a good person to me, in which case we share a trajectory? Or do I see something from him that leads me up to the next layer? I just could have sworn I heard a fucking bang. Right. Yeah, to then try and ascend into a new realm, I'm just gonna do a bit of exercise anyway. I'm chatting shit now.